Broadcasting live from the Joy 106.3 FM studios, it's the Hail Wildcats Gridiron Show with the Gridiron Gang. Fellas, let's flip the switch and do this. Very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Blackout edition of the Hail Wildcats Gridiron Show. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Ralph Smith, Mr. CC Cruse, and the Professor Larry Wesley. This week, guys, we're going to dedicate this show to Dr. Aaron Jelly Jackson. Sad to hear of his passing on this past week. And we want to dedicate this Gridiron Show to Wildcat himself, Mr. Jelly Jackson. Ralph, how are you this week, big guy?
I'm doing good.
You sure?
I'm doing good. Can't wait until tomorrow so we can get our second victory of the season.
There you go. Speak it into existence. Speak it into existence. CC. CC.
Larry, how you doing, man?
Boy, y'all keep me going.
All is well, man. All is well. A little cool in Jacksonville, man. But like Ralph, we're waiting on tomorrow.
Like Ralph, we're waiting on tomorrow. There you go, big guy. And Mr. Wesley, how are you, sir?
Not bad at all, Daryl. Not bad at all. Looking forward to football. SWAC. I said SWAC style.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah. Well, I guess I had the MEAC only has four or five football teams.
Right.
So their biggest game is actually November 5th to determine who goes to the Celebration Bowl. That's between NC North Central as well as an undefeated Howard Ball Club in the conference. So I was looking at some of the material on them today and had that on my mind. But I'm looking for some SWAC football.
Understood.
Cooler weather outside, and we're
good
back
football
in the friendly
weather.
confines of home. So that should be a big uplift for the football team as well. Looking forward to getting out there tomorrow night.
Definitely glad to finally be back home and do battle in front of the home fans. We're looking forward to seeing you on this Thursday evening, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Game is being televised on ESPNU, but if you're in the Daytona area, we'd love to see you in the house. 7:30 p.m. kickoff against Mississippi Valley State. Without further ado, we'll take us into the SWAC week recap. First up, this past Saturday, we had Mississippi Valley goes to Alcorn. Final score of that game, Alcorn 24, Mississippi Valley 3. Think any surprises there in that contest. So, moving right along, those guys are the same guys who are coming to our house on this Thursday night. Jackson State at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Jackson State 40, Arkansas Pine Bluff 14. So, I don't hear anything from the gallery. No, I'm just kidding.
Not much chalk, you figure the games would go the way that they did go, so not much to say about that.
Definitely so. Then our Wildcats go to Grambling, Louisiana. Final score of that game, 28, Grambling, Bethune Cookman 14.
Well, that's a shocker there.
We'll discuss that a little later, CC. Always got something to say.
Yeah.
He's so glad to be back with us.
I know he is, but, bro,
Alpha One.
we understand that Alpha One is our title sponsor. You don't have to keep saying the name. It's okay.
Cease and assist.
You saying cease and assist?
He said CC desist.
CC needs an assist. Is that what he was saying?
CC needs some assistance.
How's that diesel pump when you got there, bro? All right, we'll move along. Alabama State at Alabama A&M. Alabama State wins that game 31-16 over Alabama A&M.
Now, I was surprised about that. I kind of thought that Alabama A&M wouldn't have a problem with Alabama State.
Right. Right.
So that was a surprise that they beat them like that.
And then Prairie View goes to FAMU for FAMU's homecoming. FAMU final score, FAMU 45, Prairie View 7.
No surprises.
So, and then finally, Texas Southern at Southern, final score of that game, Southern 23, Texas Southern 17 in overtime. So,
Turned out to be a good game.
it did. It did. Yeah. We were right down the road from there. That'll take us right into our Pro First Sports Management SWAC week schedule and rankings. First up, of course, tomorrow night, as we said earlier, 7:30 p.m., Mississippi Valley comes to visit our Wildcats. That's a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. That game will be televised on ESPNU, but for a better showing of that game, Daytona Stadium, 7:30 p.m. Next up on this Saturday, FAMU goes to Alabama A&M. That's a 2 p.m. kickoff there in Huntsville, 3 p.m. Eastern. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time should be. Southern at Alcorn. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff there in Lorman, Mississippi. Arkansas Pine Bluff goes to Prairie View A&M. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff. Texas Southern at Jackson State. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff. And Grambling and Alabama State play at 5 p.m. in Mobile, Alabama, in Ladd Peoples Stadium. There in Mobile. That'll be a great contest. So there you have that. As far as our FCS computer rankings in the SWAC, FAMU comes in at 18. They were previously 14. Jackson State comes in at 55. They were previously 54. Alabama State comes in at 66. They were previously 74. Southern comes in at 72. They were previously 79. Alcorn comes in at 82. They were previously 85. Grambling comes in at 85. They were previously 90. Alabama A&M 90. Previously 86. Texas Southern comes in at 92. They were previously 84. Prairie View A&M 105. They were previously 102. Our Wildcats come in at 118. We were previously 114. Arkansas Pine Bluff comes in at 122. They were previously 119. Mississippi Valley State finishes out our power rankings for the SWAC at 124. They were previously 121. As far as our SWAC standings in the SWAC in the East, FAMU comes in conference 6-0, 7-1 overall. Jackson State 4-2 in the conference, 6-3 overall. Alabama State comes in at 3-2, 4-3 overall. Alabama A&M comes in at 2-3, 4-4 overall. Mississippi Valley State comes in at 1-4, 1-7 overall. Bethune-Cookman comes in at 0-5, 1-7 overall. In the West, Southern comes in at 4-1. They're 5-3 overall. Alcorn comes in at 4-1 in conference, 5-3 overall. Grambling State comes in at 3-2. They're 4-4 overall. Prairie View 3-2, 3-5 overall. Texas Southern 1-4 in the conference overall. They're 2-6. Arkansas Pine Bluff rounds out the West at 0-5. They are 1-7 overall. So there you have it, guys, for our SWAC recap, power rankings, all of the above. I don't think any surprises,
Well,
I know
it's really it's interesting to see the western side of the SWAC. Who's going to actually come out?
Right, who's going to come out? Yeah,
from that standpoint.
Yeah.
I guess Southern and Alcorn are tied with
duking
one
it out.
lost
Yeah,
apiece. So we'll see what happens with that to set up the SWAC championship final.
Definitely. So, guys, as we said earlier, sad to hear about the passing of our friend, Mr. Jelly Jackson. Wishing the Jackson family prayers and strength for comfort. Many of us remember Jelly for his paraphernalia, and as you can see, CC has on one of his articles that he produced. So,
well, what a great lover of Bethune-Cookman athletics and Bethune-Cookman in general was Aaron Jelly Jackson. I was talking to a friend of mine today from Jacksonville, and she reminded me that Jelly had played at Inglewood High School.
Right.
Came to Bethune-Cookman. But as an interesting sidebar, everybody wanted to be Jelly's roommate at Cookman Hall because Jelly brought a wall air conditioning unit in the window. So he was the only one with air in Cookman Hall.
Wow.
He used to stand in line around the college at that time. But he truly, as I said, was a Wildcat through and through. His paraphernalia was some of the best you could find, no question about it. And originally you used to get a lot of that stuff made at Charlie Coleman's in Jacksonville. But just a great spirit. He would always see, whenever he would see me, Jelly broadcasted with me the first college football game broadcasted at Bethune-Cookman, by Bethune-Cookman. It was actually simulcast. We played Alabama A&M in the city stadium called Milton Frank Stadium. And Jelly would always say, "What's up, Milton Frank?" That was his calling card. 'Cause he, along with myself and Dr. Herbert Thompson, broadcasted that first football game, Bethune-Cookman against Alabama A&M. And that was back in the 1976 football season. So we often think about that, and he would never let me forget it. He was a lover of not only Wildcat athletics, but he had some of the most outstanding one-liners. I never, one of the conversations.
Putting on a clinic.
Coach Jack McLaren was living at the time. And Jelly was, anytime we had a superstar athlete, Jelly would say, "Oh, he can sell tickets."
That was definitely him.
So one day he was talking to Coach Si. He said, "Coach, you need to check out so and so because he can sell tickets." So Si said, "Well, send him to the ticket office." But he was known for that, and he followed all the star players, boy. And we had some great ones, and all of the Duval County kids, whether it be J.D. Hall, Bernard Hawk, and just mentioning two great quarterbacks, but all of the great athletes, Beanie Gonzalez, all those guys that came.
Definitely.
Jelly was very instrumental in helping those guys understand Bethune-Cookman football, and he would never let anybody, never back down to a rattler anytime he saw a rattler. He
would not.
Toe-to-toe with him.
He definitely would.
Truly gonna miss his spirit, and I know he's in a better place right now.
Definitely.
In that regard. So
Definitely.
My hat's off to him. Just happy to have known him as a Wildcat and a great friend.
Definitely so. Fans, go ahead and click that share button. Share to your family and friends. The Hail Wildcats Gridiron Show. Invite family and friends, and definitely when it comes to our call-in time, say it with your chest. We look forward to hearing from our fans. During the week we have heard read and heard numerous things, and we want you to express your opinions, positive, negative, what have you. This is a no holds barred show, and this is what we're here for, to talk Bethune-Cookman football and, to keep it going. Guys, our Wildcats go into hot Grambling, Louisiana on this Saturday. Come up on the losing side, 28-14. So let's go in there and talk about that, guys. Let's go. You guys seem so unenthused, man. What's wrong?
No, I'm ready.
Not you, Larry. I was talking.
Oh no, it's not about you.
Okay.
Again, our offense gave up 2 scores, and I think that was the difference in the game. So far, in league play, our offense has either given up 1 or 2 touchdowns per contest
That have been costly,
Costly,
and we
very costly.
couldn't make it up.
No.
Yeah, we couldn't make it
Yeah,
up.
I mean, you look at the games that we played very close. Jackson State, we gave up a fumble that actually won the game for Jackson State. Texas Southern, we gave up 2 touchdowns on offense. and the list just goes on. So obviously we have a problem with our offense.
Daryl, there are a lot of people who certainly follow Bethune-Cookman football. And I don't mean to sound off the wall when I say this, but a number of those people are female who know the football game. They know the game
definitely.
well.
Most
And
definitely.
so today I was talking with a former Wildcat cheerleader and a person who calls in or listens in to the show all the time, Yvette Griffin, from out of originally out of Duval County, but out of Orlando now. And she was as she was talking to me about the game, Yvette had a script that she had been great in the game on terms of plays. And I mean, it reads like a coaching chart. And she said to me, Larry, she said, win, lose, or draw, game ball to the defense.
Yeah.
Because that defense shows up, it travels, and it plays hard, from that standpoint. And I think you're spot on. She's spot on with that. I said to her, in lieu of her talking to me, we were talking about the game, I said, offensively, I know we're challenged, but I've stopped watching the scoreboard guys. I watch the first down yard markers, because if we can make first downs, we keep our defense off the field and give them rest. If we're constantly punting, they're worn out by the second half, even though they play spirited football. So they deserve a game ball, because they have been keeping us in football games every game because we're so challenged to mount any real offensive threat in that regard. And I was so happy when we scored first, and I thought, man, this gives us a boost. By the time I went to get the popcorn off the stove and came back, Grambling was lining up to kick extra point. I was like, well, what happened? Yeah. And they ran the play back, and I saw where the ball was snapped, and we didn't get on the football, and it was a touchdown, and right back in the ball game. But I thought, had we not given up that cheap touchdown, we might have been able to make that stand up for quite a while, because Grambling really wasn't doing a whole lot. No. And we would have been in the ball game even more, from that standpoint.
Well, I've said all along that we have one of the best defensive lines in the SWAC, period. And if we can just get enough first downs to where these cats can rest and not be able to just go back and have to go back time and time again and play, you'll see a whole big difference, man. I mean, we're able to stop some people. Yeah. We're able to stop some people, but we can't continue to do what we're doing now.
Well, it becomes a possession type of football game, and if you're constantly giving the football back because your offense is not generating any momentum, then on either side of the football, there's some teams today that score too quick, and that defense can't rest.
Right,
exactly.
We
don't have that luxury.
Right.
We just can't score right now, and so therefore, if we don't make first downs, we turn the football back over to the opponent's offense.
I'd rather score quick.
Right now, I think everybody.
I just like to score.
Everybody would rather score any kind of way we can score. Bottom line, because right now we're averaging right at maybe 14 points a game. Yeah. Well, one way or the other, that's what we're getting.
Yeah.
It's a combination of, and while we're still going over the Grambling game, it's a combination, especially in this game, of piecemeal offensive line, some guys who've been thrown into the starting nod who, we hadn't counted on having to play due to injuries and things of that nature, and the ineptness of moving the ball, pocket closing quick, not able to establish a true running game and things of that nature. So,
what does all head coaches always say? Next man up, right?
Yeah, but it's
everybody's on scholarship.
Not everybody.
Well, those who are.
Everybody.
Well, there's so many calls for the. I'm saying calls. So much commentary on Facebook.
Right.
About when losing occurs, emotions go higher. Anger and vitriol tends to be spewed more commonly.
Right.
And everybody was on firing the offensive line coach and firing the old offensive coordinator. And Daryl, football is always going to be a trench warfare affair.
Oh, for sure.
It's played in the trenches. And we've alluded to the fact that injuries occur, and it certainly has hit us hard in the offensive line. But again, as we said earlier, this is a rebuild program, and we don't have the bodies.
We started out the year with depth, and as that depth starts to decline, especially when you're on the road, I mean, a home team can dress out, of course, more players than you can travel. That's just the way it goes. But, we matched up evenly with Grambling, but when you're, having to play some guys who haven't had as many snaps as some of our other guys, it factors in. It factors in. And every week we're, having to insert somebody new in there to help us out. So
because some of these injuries that we've had have been pretty much season-ending
definitely.
injuries.
Exactly. Yep.
So you don't get those people back,
right,
in that regard, and that's very, very tough when you don't have the body count to begin with. Not making excuses. It's
right? No. I mean, it is. It just truly is.
So naturally, the fans look at whoever's coaching that particular position. Something's wrong with them. They need to be let go. But when you only can do what you can do.
Right. Until you are able to get to a point where you can build consistent reinforcement, substitutes in your recruiting and building up,
right?
The kind of player personnel you need to compete, you're going to have this.
So it goes back to, while we aren't saying it quite like Coach Prime is saying it, everyone saw the quote, it all starts with the offensive line. I'm going to get a new one. It's at our level, it's a lot harder to insert those new guys in there and just go find. Sometimes you even have to go to the other side of the ball and pull somebody over there to get that help.
That has occurred for many under many coaching staffs at Bethune Cookman.
Right.
We've had to pull people off the opposite side of the football.
Right.
I remember Coach Wyatt doing that an awful lot, and making it work with that offense that he ran was a little bit easier because he had an offense that was more of people call it a gimmick offense, but it was an offense that capitalized on your aggression in terms of running where you vacated from. That's where you would go. Well, we're not running that kind of offense.
No.
So it's much more difficult when you want to play the kind of football we want to play, where we're trying to run that football inside, and it's harder to do that with people who are not ready for that type of football.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to answer a question. It's over here. Where did the offensive line coach come from? He actually came from the University of Miami, is where he played football and played with the Eagles for a long time. He came from UCF as a GA when he was at UCF. So but again,
if you're playing guys that you hadn't planned on playing,
right?
I don't care where you came from. It doesn't matter.
But even if I think we we had one of the best offensive line coaches in the world, it's still, to your point, you're still going to have to.
But I understand that question. But my question is, our offense don't have an identity. What do we do well? Even if we had the linemen, what do we do? What do we stand for?
Well, and that's what I said, for the last 2 weeks, everyone was asking for a change at quarterback or for us to get our quarterbacks back, right? Those guys came back and our record still stayed on the L side, even when they came back. So, and everyone knows if every defensive coordinator knows, because you do every week coming into the game, you do a scouting report. Okay, well, this person started the season on the O-line or what have you. He hadn't played for the last 2 games. He might be back, but if he's back, he's 9 times out of 10, he's not 100%.
Right. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is you're going to put your most physical player over that guy or send the blitz, and it's that stuff's hard to pick up if you don't scheme it. And as a young guy, if they send two people, they line somebody up in the gap, and then you got one guy lining up outside of you. If you're not talking up front, if you're not calling it, you ain't gonna block it.
And again, as I said before, alluding to the situation when Coach Wyatt was running the Wyatt Bone, which was an offense that people didn't really see a lot of, like you're running option football, where everybody sees the RPO game, and schematically, we're still trying to do what we've always done. We just don't have the personnel really up front to execute that. And so the sensible question becomes, when do you do something a little bit different, not scrapping everything, but changing a little bit of your tendencies in terms of how you're going to attack defenses. And that's what a lot of people are really clamoring for. They might not be calling for that, but that's what's being asked right now.
Right.
And so
I think that's a good question, actually.
It probably is a very pertinent question and a very just question, but we're not the guys to get answers to it.
Yeah, you got that right.
We're talking about it, but we're not the ones calling the plays, etc. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow night.
We see what's even during the week, we see what's happening, and it's when you look up, you're expecting to see sometimes a guy at practice, and he might be there, but he's in, civvies, as we call it, not full dress and everything like that. And so, but as I said last week, you got to go with the game plan that you got right there. It's you hope to have them back. You hope that it's not a game time decision whether they can go. And this year, I can say that our, training staff, if you're not ready to go, they're not going to let you out there. That's
true.
Yeah, they're not going to let you out there. So,
but even with all that we've said, the more impressive thing, if you're looking for the brighter side of things, is the grit, the fight, and the determination of the team. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're still battling, and it's interesting. A lot of times, if I was watching a video the other night, guys, NFL stuff of the old Baltimore Ravens when they won the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer quarterbacking, and they couldn't score offensively. And if they got a touchdown, they wouldn't even let Trent Dilfer throw. Just go out there and hand the ball off, because we'll win it on defense, and they won it all. But when I say that to say this, it's when you have one side of the football that's playing clearly a lot better than the other side, it's interesting that no finger pointing has occurred.
Right.
Because a lot of times that happens.
To that point, Larry, you can't say that, even when we start calling at, or going even at the head coach. And when I say we've seen it, we've read it, we've heard it, but, you can't have it decent or good on one side of the ball and not be that way on the other side, and it be
harmonious or whatever.
Right. So
absolutely, and the kids play hard. I mean, it's not like the offense is not trying; they're trying.
Right.
The defense is certainly balling out as best they can, because they did a yeoman job in keeping that game close.
For sure.
They really did. Let's give them credit.
No team can get behind like that and give up scores. We always say, no matter who it is, you can't give up offensive touchdowns. You just can't. You can't and have to fight back from it. Mm-hmm. You already know with the things that we've said, trying to fight back from those things, it's nearly impossible. Nearly impossible. Even if we were full strength, it's,
Still impossible. Yeah. I think when your offense start giving up scores, that puts so much pressure on the defense.
Right. And you got to try to make it up with those guys, and they do. Yeah. But, once they make it up, okay, we got to have help with the guys who do this day in and day out to do this. Now, let's go to, and we're still talking about the Grambling game. We still have a problem with play calling. It's just simple as that.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Everyone knows that watching us play.
Right.
But that's where we are right now.
Right.
And that's what we get each week.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I don't see that changing the remainder of this year, though.
No, I don't either.
I
No,
don't see us getting
but
it.
see, and that's what I was like last week. What I was saying there, you can't like this week is totally, you know, you're game planning on the bus ride back to Shreveport and flying home. You know, you come back in the office Sunday. Sunday turns into pretty much a Tuesday practice for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then Monday is your Wednesday practice, and after that, you know,
You're in game mode then.
yeah, and then you have to factor in the injuries. Yeah, then you have to factor in
The
the
blessing
injuries.
is that we're not traveling. It's home.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so
So what did we do well against Grambling?
he played good defense.
I'm gonna lay on that. It's the defense, man, especially that defensive line.
You know, now you and I talked about this. The one play that I saw and Grambling scored the title score, I really was upset about that play until I found out what really happened on that particular play.
I mean, it's and this is why I was saying even when we came on the show, you know, watching it on TV is one thing, but actually being there is totally different because it was an errant play. It was.
Well,
it was
you got a new center and relatively new quarterback, and the center is not listening to the quarterback.
Right, and your back's at the end zone, so already you know.
So
and what we're talking about is the errant snap that turned into the touchdown to tie the game back up. There was a blitz coming. He stepped up to check off, you know, to tell the line that the blitz was coming. When he stepped up is when the ball was snapped, and so it shot right by him, and you know,
new center, relatively new quarterback.
He tried to hop on it, bounced, and you know, unfortunately, we couldn't recover it. You know, typically should try to kick it out of the end zone, but in the heat of the battle, you know,
Yeah, you don't think.
Yeah, you're trying to get the ball. So.
Right.
But that was again, the offense actually let the defense score on them, and because they wasn't together on that. I mean, the quarterback is talking to the line, but the center, I guess he's not paying attention to what he's saying, and he just hacked the ball.
And you're also wondering, like, had he, you know, is he struggling with the blocking scheme? And his mind is on, I got to block this guy. Got to snap the ball. I got to block this guy. He might even be having to make the line call the blitz and everything, you know. So,
but usually that's what the center does.
Oh, yeah.
He's calling blocking.
The other part of it, you know, from a coaching perspective, if you are aware of Grambling, or I would say this for the SWAC, if you're in negative position, like we were in,
they blitzing.
They coming. So that should be a call on the sideline. Your first call should be aware of the blitz coming now. So I'm calling a play to deal with run blitz. I'm saying, if you're thinking that way.
Well, you see, but that's the point that I was trying to make earlier, though. You watch film of the team you're going to play to see what you can do against them and what would work. So you center your plan around their weakness and your strength. But it doesn't seem like we do that. We look like we come out with the same offensive thought.
That we're going to run what we want to run.
Yeah. Even regardless of what they're doing.
We're going to run what we're going to run.
What we want to run.
Right, exactly.
That doesn't make sense to me.
And we can say this right now, it's Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Mississippi Valley is going to get off the bus blitzing.
Yeah.
They're going to get off the bus. They may end up going to our locker room by mistake.
But and Larry, that's the point that I'm making. It seems like we ignore all the tendencies and say, I'm going to do what I want to do.
That's it.
And that's why we look like fools.
I think, I think from the beginning, guys, when we start playing SWAC games, everybody just decided they was going to blitz us anyway.
It's a copycat
Okay,
league.
yeah. I mean, so you started from the first game and then moved till now. Everybody said, well, let's blitz them. You know, they're not going to change. They're not going to call anything. We'll just blitz them, and that's what's happening. So until we come up with a game plan and say we got to change some things, this is what you're going to see.
But I don't think it's, like I said last week, if that's if that's what your bread and butter is, that's what your bread and butter is, and it's.
Look forward to Mississippi Valley blitzing all night tomorrow.
Oh, we already know that.
It's a type A offense. We're gonna run what we gonna run. Okay.
Right. Last week we talked about change, and I said there's nowhere to change to because
this is how they see it. So
and we already know they're going to blitz because if your line is still beat up, then why not? Yeah. We just got to be able to, one of the things that we cannot do is continue to go in empty in a lot of plays with no back in the backfield, no back help or what have you. And with the inexperienced offensive line, sometimes you have to go in like pistol formations and things of that nature to help it out. You bring extra blockers in there to, two backs in the backfield, maybe one up back, or bring a tight end back there and set him up, So we'll see. We'll see.
Or get in some exotic formations that they haven't seen.
Right.
So sometimes you can confuse a dummy, okay? You can show them something.
You got to trick them.
Right, So these are just far-reaching things. But again, when we do go empty, you can close your eyes. Okay?
Pretty much, because something bad's getting ready to happen.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But all the exotic stuff you see in practice, don't you?
Yeah, if we see it in there, that's where you gonna see it.
Oh boy, yeah.
But you go to practice and you see them practicing these plays, but you get in the game, they never run those plays. They just spent 4 days practicing. So I don't know. I think that at the end of the season, we got to think about what we're going to do offensively.
I think inside the program, we're already
there.
Yeah,
you have to be.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah. I think that and the fact that I'm hoping and waiting for the strength of our program to kick in, if there is a strength, and that is the fact that Raymond Woody is known as a great recruiter. And so when we get into November, December with the early signing period, hopefully many of the commitments of the guys we're looking at, will sign on with us, and we can begin to get his players in.
I will say this, and I'm not saying it's in this room, and I'm not saying it's in a lot of places, but there's quite a few SWAC fans, commentators, enthusiasts who are paying attention to what's happening in Daytona, and other people see it. Other people see it, what's happening, and they know
like the Bethune Cookman alumni, they ain't seeing nothing.
Because I read a commentary today. I read a commentary today that literally surprised me. We went over the scores from the SWAC this weekend, but there are rumblings out of Alabama and Huntsville that they're going to be looking for a new head coach.
Right.
Literally. A&M?
Alabama A&M, yeah, literally. With Cornell Maynard being, the kind of coach that he's been for years, and he took Winston-Salem State to the national championship football game.
Right.
He knows offense, but apparently something is awry up there.
We know the world we live in, but you got to also just be realistic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got different young men at this stage of the game, and I know that Ralph and I can attest with our, the season we coached in. It was.
Oh my God.
It's a different world, so yeah.
You got to have a strong soul and a heart of resolve to coach these.
Right? Yeah, you have to.
Oh, these kids are different.
Yeah.
Different.
I mean, it's almost like instant grit. They want instant gratification.
Yeah.
And they think they don't have to work for it.
No, and then we have people who don't play football. People in general who live today. I think about when teaching a few years ago, one of the things that to me has to be addressed today in life, particularly with the younger generation, because they're living in a world just like we lived in a world when we grew up during our time. But there's a time we're living in right now where the whole world seems to have lost all attention to emotional intelligence.
Right.
Because we just get lost with our emotions. Whatever we think, we say. You know, this comes right up.
Yeah.
And when I look at Twitter, and I'm not a Twitter aficionado, but I always remember the first lesson in social media: think before you hit send.
Right.
And a lot of people don't even do that. They just fill themselves up with emotion, type something, and hit send.
But, you know, granted, and I'm talking specifically about the Bethune Cookman alumni and our fans. Okay, we've gone through 2 really bad seasons. And the fact that we hired a new coach, a lot of people had anticipating this overturn immediately success. And then in life, success ain't like that. It takes time for that.
That's that immediate gratification. Ralph, we said it a lot of times. The only time that you see the word success coming before the word work is in Webster's dictionary. Because in life, you got to work to be successful.
And it's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
You may get lucky and find lightning in a bottle every now and then, but that's rare. That's rare.
The only thing I would say is that to Coach Woody, I've never seen a guy that had as many bad breaks at the beginning that he's had.
Let's look at it real quick this way. There's 4 teams with new coaches in the SWAC, right? Mm-hmm. This year, right? Mm-hmm. 3 of them are 1-7.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
3 of them are 1-7. Out of those 3 teams, each of those 3 teams have brand new coaches.
Yep.
The only first year guy who's winning is the guy who's been on staff for the last few years.
Right.
And we've had to. I mean, we didn't have to, but we almost have a pretty brand new roster.
We do. I mean, we stated that, documented that a few weeks ago.
Right. So, I mean, you know, it's.
And don't get me started. Because we don't have enough time. Don't get me started with the hidden issues of infrastructure. Don't even get me going.
Don't let him start. Don't let him start.
I was going to say something towards that fact. Our nutrition is
it's way off the chart.
Way off.
Yeah. My thing is this: if you the time to get concerned, if next year at this same time and we got the same record, okay, we got a problem.
It won't be that way.
Oh, I know it won't.
You want to know
who,
size-wise, our comparison we compared the best to Grambling. Grambling guys and our team were about the same size. And I know Ralph and I know this, you know, what those guys have gone through with nutrition and some of the things that, you know.
Had the same similar problem.
Yeah. So, you know.
I still stand by something, Daryl, we said earlier this year. 2 of those 1-7 teams are coached by 2 coaches who, if they get a fair shake and are able to build their program, they're going to be among the best coaches.
For sure.
Yeah. That's
for
right.
Sure.
That's
for
a
sure.
fact.
Yeah.
For sure. On Saturday, Talik Bethune went 8 completions, 70 yards through the air. On defense, Iverson Clement headed up the defense with a team-high 10 tackles. 4 additional Wildcats had 4 tackles apiece. In Saturday's contest, before we get to our grading system, on offense, Bethune-Cookman totaled 177 yards. Grambling totaled 331. Penalties, Bethune-Cookman 4 for 27. Grambling 8 for 59. Passing, we had 81 net passing yards on the day. Grambling had 163 in rushing. Grambling had 168. Bethune-Cookman 96. There you have it, guys. All right, let's go into it, guys, without further delay. All right, quarterbacks, and we are including the headsets, guys. Here we go. Let's go. Ralph,
Quarterback,
Yes, sir.
D.
Mr. Assist,
Yeah. C minus.
are you awake?
C minus.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
you know, we're looking at everybody. We're not just looking at the
No, I
quarterback.
see.
So,
Headsets included.
That's why I rolled my eyes. You saying
yeah,
C?
I heard him, but I mean, I also heard Alpha 1 in the background too. So,
We go from Alpha. We go from ESPN to Alpha 1.
yeah.
Don't even mention ESPN.
Alpha 1 is the reason I'm here.
Oh,
tonight,
okay.
so.
Right.
So-
No.
Yeah.
ESPN laughing at you is the reason you're
It's all right.
I'm going to go with D minus.
All right. Running backs. We got F, F, and D for quarterbacks. All right, running backs.
D.
D.
D minus.
Wide receivers, tight ends.
Well, they got to get a D too because the guy that's throwing the ball to him got a D. He only got 77 yards.
Yeah, that's
A bunch of 3-yard passes. That's what that amounts to.
I'm giving them a D as well because most of mine. I'm including the headsets big time.
Yeah,
with
that
Me
part,
too.
Okay.
You're right. That part
Me
right
too.
there.
I know they grade just like we are.
Oh, big time. Big time.
We all saw the same game.
All right. The guys who block up front, offensive line.
F.
D.
Larry said
D minus.
incomplete.
D minus.
D minus ain't nothing but F.
D minus.
Hey, in fact, D minus is an F plus.
Says the jigger. Says the jigger.
Ralph, it's educational training. You can pass a non-course requirement course, an elective, with a D minus.
All right.
You can graduate with that. You can't graduate with that in your major.
And
track.
your major, right? I got you.
We got O-line F plus. Then we're waiting on some other ones. All right, total offensive grade. Including headsets.
D minus.
F.
D minus.
Another F for the O-line, another D. All right, we'll move right along. Keeping it going. Let's go D-line.
B plus.
Yeah, I take that B plus as well.
Absolutely.
Yep.
B plus for me also.
Yep.
Let's go to linebackers.
D minus.
D minus.
Well, now let
Hurry up!
Hold on 1 second. See, I got to say a C plus, okay, because we're asking guys that are out of position that I think that are playing well for what they can do. So I'm saying C plus.
And I had graded C for
All right.
linebackers. Remember, Willie
Yes, sir.
Jackson says we don't have any linebackers.
We really don't have
Right.
any.
We don't. We don't.
Of course, I think 25 is.
He could be.
is
Yeah.
you can put him in where you want to. He's a plug and play guy.
Right.
Okay.
You got linebacker D, linebacker C,
Yeah.
another D. Defensive backs.
C minus.
F.
I'm going to give them for this. When you started off with how many tackles.
Right, Iverson had 10, yeah.
And then Omari held his own.
Right.
I'm going to give
Scoop and
them
score,
a C plus.
Tackling involves that as well.
You got DBC.
Yeah.
Total defense.
C plus or B.
I'm going to give them a B because they kept that game within the balance. the entire game.
'Cause
They played lights out football.
Because if you take away the 2 touchdowns the offense gave up, the game's 14-14.
You
Right.
got it. You got it. You got it.
Still C+ for me.
C+. All
Yeah.
right.
They say that defense travels. Ours certainly does.
Yes,
We can't-
it does.
We cannot leave home without our team.
Definitely does.
Defense is only keeping us respectful.
All right, let's go special teams.
I got to give them a C- fair catching on the 2-yard line. I can't give them a pass on that.
Yeah, that's my reason for giving them. Other than that, and I know all those players are taught. Put your heels on the 10-yard line,
Right.
and anything over your head, let it go.
Yeah.
So I know that they're taught that. So I'm going C- as well.
Yeah. I mean, his head wasn't in the game.
We still are not getting enough for me on our return game, which should be much better
Yeah.
for the time that we practice.
Man, I saw one time there was a player in all black who flew down the field unblocked and just wiped out the return guy. I'm like, wow.
That we got to fix that.
I mean, again, like I said earlier, when you play special teams, that's what you want to do. Because that's just like rebounding. Good rebounders want to rebound.
Right.
Yeah. Special teams, I mean, just think you got somebody flying blind, you could knock them out.
You want to hit somebody.
Yeah, you want to hit somebody.
Special teams D, special teams C. Overall team grade.
Defense?
Overall team grade.
I'm going to say a C-. I mean, it would be a C because the defense, I think, represented themselves, but the offense is so bad.
C for me.
I'll go C- because I'm factoring the defense in there.
Yeah.
All right. What say you, fans? There you have it. All right, guys. Let's move on. This Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. here in Daytona Stadium, our Wildcats take on Mississippi Valley State. That'll take us right into our Alpha One Staffing game plan. Alpha One Staffing, your number one staffing and search firm agency. Go ahead and call the folks there, alpha1staffing.com, for all your employment needs. All right, guys. What's the game plan? Short week. What do you do?
I think we got to go vertical, and we got to call plays to counter the blitz. And that's going to be draws, screens, and just go vertical. That horizontal on it is not going to work.
I think we got to find a way to run the ball.
Oh, I agree.
At some point, we got to find a way to run the ball. If we can do that, then we can establish throwing the ball somewhere other than to the sideline.
This has to be, for me, a quick game, a quick offensive game in the sense of quick, sharp passes, not horizontally, but they have to run the shallow crosses. They have to run the quick outs, things of that magnitude. You've got to be able to take advantage of the middle of the football field because the blitz is going to come from the middle.
Yes.
So you got to look for the tight end. You got to look for the back, running the arrow routes, out the backfield, those kind of things. And the ball has got to come out quick because this team is going to be feast to famine. They're coming for blood. They're coming. They want to put you in a negative situation, and that's why they're blitzing like that.
This game is kind of for who finishes last in
That's
these.
what it is.
Right.
That's
That's
what it
exactly
comes
what
down
it
to.
is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
So you know you're going to get their best effort.
Right.
Because they're finally playing somebody, it's like a little dog tired of walking up to big dogs and finally see somebody his size. Now he has a different resolve about it.
Right.
So we're going to get the best game. You know that.
Yep. I'm just hoping that offensively we're planning to counteract whatever they're doing. I know I'm wishing.
No. I mean, but your wish is not too far. Even with what we said with, okay, we got a banged up O-line. We're not the best in the quarterback area right now, but what you do with that, we have some guys who can still throw the ball 10 yards. And, if the marker sits right here, sit somebody down the marker, call something that drags across the middle.
That's all
the
I'm
slants.
saying.
Get it out their hand quick. So you're saving your O-line by getting the ball out of his hand quick. They don't have to hold up those guys that long, and they'll last longer. Get it in their hands. Get it in your playmakers' hands and let them play.
Quick crossing routes.
Right.
Take care of all that. Just
move your quarterback from being a stationary target. Even if you go to one side of the field, roll
Right.
him that side, flood that side, lay the receiver from high to mid-range to low, get the football out, give him a two-way go where if the quarterback has the corner, let him run. Just give me 3 yards.
Right.
I'm looking at first downs, guys. First and 10s are the theme of this game for me. So we're not going 4 and out all night long.
Right. And it's not chunk plays all the time. It's like, okay, like we said, each 10 yards, 100 yards, you're moving down the field with 10, 10, 10, even if it's not 10 all the time. And do something they're not expecting.
Right.
Do something they're not expecting with, okay, are we going to run the ball up the gut on first down? Yes.
Pretty much.
Or are you going to come out throwing on first down?
We are going to disappoint you. We're going to run it up the gut on first down, and then we're going to throw that pass, that horizontal pass, the second down, and third, we're going to go all hell.
And guys, most of all, we cannot give up any offensive touchdowns.
No.
This game, we can't turn the ball over. We don't need to help a struggling team like we're a struggling team.
Yeah.
Right.
3 points. We got to
Right.
play clean in this football
But
game.
it's one other thing that I was thinking about. Okay, so your offensive line is struggling. Then why don't you run double tight ends? So then you got a tight end on each corner helping the tackle with the guy coming on the edge.
That's what we were saying earlier, that you got to come out of empty. You got to come out of
Well,
empty.
you got to get in some 12 personnel. When you got double tight ends, tight ends, you're not declaring a strong or weak side.
Right.
So you're balancing the formation out.
Right.
And so you need to show some of that, particularly if you want to run, because even if you want to throw out of that, you can chip with a line, you can chip with a defensive end.
Right. I mean, the main thing is if you do go empty, it's got to be quick.
Everything we do got to be quick.
Right.
Okay? Gotta be quick.
It ain't a home run ball,
And really, that doesn't take a whole lot of changing in your offense to just add those pieces there.
No.
But it's mostly thinking that way. And I don't think that we got there yet. I don't know what the problem is, but I don't think. Well,
You just don't want to tell them.
You know.
You hear what he said? He said, "I know, but I don't want to tell anybody."
Yeah.
I thought we was gonna keep it respectful.
It is, but truthful.
So somebody put on his slants and reverses. If we ran a reverse, somebody might fall out on the field. Where did that come from?
It's hard to even run reverses because you got to get out on the edge and block, and it's we're
Well, it take time to develop, and if you got leakage coming inside, it's awfully hard to be able to do.
It's hard to do that with numbers, and as we said, if we're calling the blitz, man, it's you got to account for everyone over there on the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. So it's just
that's why I would run double tight ends. Get extra blockers.
I think the double tight end is a good concept, Ralph, and I think you can be creative off of it.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's a brand new look that they've not seen from us, and it's out of a balanced formation. So you can show a lot of different things out of that can kind of help you get to the edge. If you start to get, can you imagine what a quick pitch would look like with double tight end?
Yeah.
I mean,
So one of our persons who was at the game with us this weekend, there was a play that I cannot absolutely believe that we ran, and that was a jet sweep to the tight end.
Oh, when he fumbled.
It never should have been called.
an ex-quarterback fumbled.
Yeah.
Which actually netted us our first touchdown.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Now,
Right.
It was almost like a pitch.
I put that on my Saturday highlights. That play reminded me of the play that Florida tried to run against Georgia when they snapped the ball between the quarterback's legs
Right.
on the center, and ETN got it. He was going to throw the football. Their play got stuffed. Our play went for a touchdown because Tink Boyd was standing in the right place, and the ball popped to him, and he took off
He
running.
took off, yeah.
And that's how we scored the touchdown, the first touchdown of the game.
Yes, sir. But again, I don't. We're standing up here talking. Neither of us have ever coached at this level, but we coming up with ideas, and I'm understanding why the guy who's coaching not coming up with these ideas.
Well, maybe they're listening tonight, and you'll see a different team tomorrow.
But I don't know. Maybe so. They would need an epiphany. That's for certain. But it's interesting to get the takes on a lot of the things that people are posting up here. Make a lot of sense on what they're saying. In that regard.
Well, they see the game just like we do.
They do. They literally do in that respect. But again, we're in this is game 8 right now.
Yep.
And we are still hoping and praying and wishful of something a little bit different on offense. It may come, it may not come. I don't know.
Right.
But this is like a wishing season right now.
Right.
We're hopeful of things that might work, that we're putting our thinking caps on versus what we've been doing consistently all the time.
Right.
We know we're gonna get that.
Right.
What else are we gonna get in our trick or treat bag?
Well, as the question is being asked over here in the comment section, who's going to go at quarterback? We already know there's 2 guys, all right? So it's either going to be Bethea or it's going to be Simmons, or it's going to probably be both. So Bethea does have a small injury, but he will play. So, it's just...
I get nervous when you say he has a small injury.
Ralph, come on, man.
You told me to be honest.
No, I want you to be honest.
Well, I'm just
and you said you're nervous.
I get nervous when you say our quarterback has a small injury and it might.
You did that Fred Sam.
So what you telling us, Daryl?
Our quarterback has a small injury. That's what I was telling you. One of our quarterbacks has a small injury.
Guys, I'm going to just call it. in these kind of games, this is a run for your life game.
It is. It is.
Give me the guy who's got the best legs out there, who can get out of trouble.
True.
And keep us out of trouble.
True.
Keep us ahead of the chains.
That's why.
As of right now, but this is what I will say. As of right now, you don't want to get either one of those guys injured.
What we just have to bring in Ethan.
Could.
Yeah. Let him be the hero.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yes. Let Ethan be the hero.
I've said that 4 games ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let Ethan have it.
You said 4 games ago. How many times you been back to the show?
Matter of fact,
We didn't hear that.
Leave my friend alone. Leave him alone.
But see,
good deal.
What he doesn't understand is
Where's my mic? Where's the mic button? Let me turn
he
it on.
gonna mute me now. He gonna mute me. He gonna mute me.
You gotta call out for one.
You're right. I'm calling as soon as I get out of here.
No, wait till tomorrow and try calling out for one from the stadium. I know you won't get out. Oh man! So
Let's go, Ethan. Let's go, Ethan.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Let's go, Ethan. Make it happen.
I can't make it happen. I said let's win every game.
Make that happen too.
All right, guys, on the real. So
We have no way of knowing who's going to take the first snap. To
No.
be honest, we'll just have to. It's a wait and see when we get there. I know, as I said before, we need to realize that this is a. If you're going to factor the quarterback into the game, moving the football, running it, it needs to be somebody who can get away from.
Both teams are going to be similarly talented. This is truly a game that's going to come down to who has less turnovers and who is the more disciplined team. That's what this one's going to come down to Saturday.
And, like you said, the key one is who's going to have less turnovers.
Right.
In that respect.
Costs and the costly turnovers, it just, it's hurtful to see that, how many times the defense get us the ball back and, yeah.
And we do nothing with it. We don't even gain a yard.
Yeah.
Well, I say watch how aggressive Mississippi Valley plays our horizontal game, and if they're jumping those routes, you gotta take a shot deep.
Yeah.
I don't care whether you connect or not. You gotta send that message to back off a little bit,
Right.
and put a 50-50 ball up there. Maybe we get lucky and catch a home run pass. But if they're jumping those short routes,
You cannot. You can't do that.
No, you can't do that because you putting the whole team in harm's way in that, because that's a turnover waiting to happen.
Definitely a turnover waiting to happen. Definitely.
I'm pretty sure our offensive coordinator has figured that one out.
Why?
That's why? Just like, CC, your mic's back on. Ralph.
Boy, Alpha One's gonna get a
What was in his pre-show meal, bro?
Hey, Larry, I'm telling you, you're good. Alpha One said you're good.
I'm good.
Ralph, Alpha One said you're good. Daryl.
Yes, CC.
They said they will meet with you later.
Keep on talking, CC. You're not even on a contract on this show. Your call when needed.
Alpha One.
So how do you put CC back on probation?
How did we put him back on probation? Because he never left off of it.
You got you on probation.
Continue.
You got to talk to Alpha One about that one. Oh man!
I tell you, guys.
So what are you thinking, Larry? For tomorrow night?
I really don't. What I'm thinking is, I would certainly like to see just a tad bit of creativity, just something slightly new to make the defense, think and be on their toes. But I don't know if we have that. If we have that capability to do that, we've not shown that so far. So I don't really know. So because I don't know that, if we're going to stay base, then I think again my theme, and I'm going to say this for the last time tonight: first down, guys. And I don't care how we get it, whether a quarterback has to run for 3 yards. As long as we're staying ahead of the chains and moving those chains a little bit, I'm fine. And I have no problem with punting, because this order. Well, if we can't score, let's make it a field position game.
Right.
Let's keep them bottled up.
Put
Punt
that
the
punter
football
from
away.
Grambling, man. That boy is a coughing.
That boy from Grambling must have had a rope on that.
Boy, too.
Because I'm just telling you, he bottled us up all day long. Guys, one of the bright spots on our Wildcat football team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, I think we have Mr. Hall. Welcome to the Hail Wildcats Gridiron Show.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. We have Mr. Adrian Hall, number 44, on our Wildcat defensive line on the show with us. Welcome to the show, Adrian. So, Adrian, you come from Tennessee Tech. I know you're kind of from the area, hailing from the Rockledge area. Tell us about your transition from Tennessee Tech to Bethune-Cookman.
Well, first of all, my transition, I feel to me it was a pretty smooth transition. I kind of knew what I wanted to do already. Just being like I had a couple family issues going on, and with me being like such a family-oriented person, I knew that I wanted to transfer somewhere closer to back home, which being in Tennessee, I was like 12, 13 hours away. And I'm a person to where I love having my family come watch me play, and they just been supporting me my whole life. So it was kind of a decision to where I got enough film. I did what I had to do my freshman year, and I just put it in the guy's hands, and he landed me back in Daytona, which is an hour away. And I'm proud to say that I'm a Wildcat.
Yes, sir. We're definitely glad to have you, Adrian. Glad to have you. So tell us, how it's been battling down in the trenches through these last few games of being a Wildcat. How has that been? And, we've heard your name called numerous times over the PA system. So just tell us about what your mind is like going into a game and during a game.
I mean, first off, I give all the credit to my brothers and just my brothers surrounding me and my coaches, and he just put into the every day. Like, we started off as a defensive line as a unit. We started off slow, which we only had like 2 sacks within like 5 games, and now we got like 15, 16 sacks within these last 2-3 games. So that goes to show you that we improving every week in the trenches. And me personally, I just, like we always say, just do your 111, just pay attention to details and do your job. So that's something that I live by every day, just going into the game, just your purpose and why you doing it. Like, you can't, as a defensive lineman, you can't do too much. Like, you can't be a hero all the time. You just got to do your job. You got to do your 111 and just do your assignment. You're going to make plays after that. You playing fast. You doing your job. Plays going to open up. So I just give all the credit to all my defensive line and my defensive line brothers around me, because we all doing something different to get the quarterback down or to make TFLs, to try to make our defense better, because they always say it's starting in the trenches.
Most definitely. It does start on the trenches on both sides of the ball. Adrian, you're here with my co-host Ralph Smith, CC Cruse, and the professor Larry Wesley. Guys, you guys have questions for Adrian?
I saw Adrian play in high school.
High school, yes.
Comes from a great football program. Rockledge is a football factory, and they play great football down in Brevard County.
Oh, yes, sir.
I was so happy when I saw him on the roster, because I knew he brought a high motor. He was an impact player who gave a tremendous amount of effort. And I just was wondering, Adrian, we got to find a way to get some more of those Brevard County kids to Bethune Cookman, because there's a great amount of football played there.
There is. There's definitely.
Yeah, me personally, like, I just take it, like, I just feel like it was best for me to be able to play college football, basically in my backyard. And just me, like you said, just come from Rockledge. I know, like, I come from a place to where, like, it's not really a lot there, but to play sports. So just football, like, that's really all I know, and that's something that we transition in and trying to bring back the winter program and the winter ways here. Because I know before I came, I had a couple coaches that came through the program and through the university that had the winter ways. So that's something I'm trying to bring back with me having 2 years of eligibility left after this year. I just feel like stuff's going to turn around. I feel like this is a building year, learning year, and I know it may be not what the community or what the fans want, but like just me coming in, work every day, and practice. I actually see us getting better as a unit, not just as a D-line, defensive line, but just as a whole team. And I may things may not be how it is, like how you predict it or how you want it to be right now, but just me personally, I feel like they always say trust the process. I feel like things going to come. You just got to keep working.
Trust the process, and that's a huge thing that our fans definitely need to hear and focus on. CC, Ralph, you got anything for Adrian?
Hallelujah. Trust the process, and I know a lot of us don't have a lot of patience because of what we've gone through the last 2 years. But just looking at the way that defensive line play, I know better days are coming.
Definitely.
And we really do appreciate you.
And Adrian, one last question. I know it's on a different side of football. We were able to get one of your hometown friends to come from your rival school, Coco. We have a wide receiver. I think his name is Calhoun.
Yeah, Calhoun. Yeah, I didn't play against him in high school, but just coming out of Brevard County and Cocoa, like that's the high school rival. On Friday, Cocoa versus Rockledge played. Like that's the biggest game in our county, and that's something that all the players, all the college coaches gonna look at, because both programs are winning programs. Cocoa went to state last year. Rockledge, when my 4 years there, we turned the program around to get back to winning. So like, I just know like it's not. It may be not a lot of things in Brevard, but I know it's talent everywhere. Especially coming from being a football player, it's most definitely talent everywhere in Brevard County, not just in Rockledge.
Good comment.
Most definitely.
More of those kids make their way to Bethune Cookman.
Definitely so.
Oh yeah, we gotta get. I feel like this was one of the best decisions to move and come back, especially being in the HBCU. And knowing last year I came in, but I broke my foot in camp, so it was kind of a bummer for me. I felt like I couldn't really do what I wanted to do, because as soon as I transferred, I got hurt. But all it did was hold me, and I had to find a way to keep peace and just find a way to know that it was better days coming. And knowing that I got back, got healthy, and getting back to my ways that people probably seen in high school or coming from Tennessee Tech. You go look at my highlights and stuff there, getting back to those ways. I know, but I'm just gonna tell people I ain't done yet.
There you go.
Hail Wildcats.
Hail Wildcats, big guy.
Adrian, we have a lot of Wildcat fans listening to you. If you had a couple of things, and we know you've already said some great things that you truly believe in, if you had to speak to the fan base to encourage them, what would you say to the fan base? Because they are listening right now.
I'm gonna just tell y'all, like I said, trust the process, and just know, like, we got y'all back. Like, I promise, like, I know, like I said before, I know things are coming slow, but one thing I can say, we're gonna turn things around. This D-line, we're gonna keep giving y'all shots. We're gonna make sure y'all don't regret coming to watch us play and nothing like that. Everything, I feel like just one thing, we got to stay together. We're a family. Like you said, Hail Wildcats.
Hail Wildcats. Hey, he is definitely a man of his word. Yeah, definitely a man of his word. Hey, Adrian, we thank you, man. We're going to be looking for continued great things out of you, and we want the fans to remember, look at 44 when you see him out there on the field. And tune in tomorrow. We just gonna keep climbing, keep getting better. Just tune in. If you're able to come to the game, come out and support. We're gonna give y'all a show. We ain't gonna disappoint. Right on. Hey, Adrian, thanks a lot for calling in, man. Great to hear from you. You're always welcome to call into the show, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, balling out in the backfield. All right.
Yes, sir.
Wildcats. Have a good night. Yes, sir. Thank you. 386-868-3411. 386-868-3411. That is the number to call in to talk to our
distinguished personnel.
Who, you and Larry and myself?
Alpha One.
Our guest. 386-868-3411. 386-868-3411. Fans, as Adrian said, please come out and support if you have the opportunity to do so. These guys are fighting. They will not quit, man. It's a no quit thing. This is much different than years past. We don't have the dissension. You don't have any of that stuff. It's just fighting, and it's not for the lack of not wanting to win. Yeah.
I mean, he's telling us, they're getting better. He sees it in practice. So we got to go with that, and we got to come out and support them.
Have to.
Absolutely.
And we got to keep those guys on that side of football, especially, refreshed for tomorrow night. We got to
right, definitely
being worn down.
Definitely.
And if necessary, as I said before, play a field position football game. This very well may be one of the most low scoring games of the year on Thursday night. I can tell you that.
Right.
Points will be at a premium.
I mean, It'd be great to see a coming out party, and
like
it could surprise.
I would love to eat my words, but right now I got to stand on the back.
He said all he can do now is eat fish.
And he's a state kind of guy.
Definitely so. He is definitely a state kind of guy, but we're going to eat W's tomorrow night.
Well, I had some doubt until I heard Adrian. Now I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Oh, boy.
Let's go.
If Ralph ready to go, boy, somebody in trouble.
I think our defense is going to play super tomorrow, and I'm predicting they're going to score at least twice.
There you go.
That's my prediction.
How many times on offense?
I said my defense is going to score at least twice.
I heard you the first time about the defense.
Okay. I thought maybe you didn't understand the language.
Guys, another guy who plays next to Mr. Adrian Hall is number 93, our own Deontay Washington. Deontay, welcome to the Hail Wildcats Gridiron Show. How are you this evening, sir?
Good, how you doing, sir? I'm well.
Great. Glad to have you here on the show. We're here with my co-host, Mr. Ralph Smith, Mr. CC Cruse, and Mr. Larry Wesley. Coming from Texas State to Bethune Cookman, tell us about that transitioning to Bethune. I know I talked to you earlier. Well, I've been talking to you a lot this year, but talking to you earlier this year, and the first highlight after the Memphis game, we talked about Texas State knocking off Baylor. Tell us about that transition from Texas State to Bethune-Cookman.
So first thing I want to say is it's definitely been a change coming from FBS to FCS. It's definitely a change for me. And I had I had a coach to like the environment and stuff like that, and stuff was being certain structured away at Texas State for being there for the many years. I feel like for me personally, I feel like I had to get right mentally at Bethune-Cookman. And I had to change my thinking, my overall saying, and to be grateful for what things I had at Texas State and things I got to work for to get here. Yeah, the things I had at Texas State, I had to work for, but not as hard, if that makes sense, at the FBS level. I feel like the biggest change to Bethune, from Texas State to Bethune, is definitely just the FCS to FBS level. It's just a matter of the change of the environment I was in. I feel like that's just a bigger change for me, just getting just trying to cope to the environment and create on the beach for them.
It's strange I won't say strange you said that, because that's FBS myself, but a lot of our fans don't understand that it's a huge transition where you go from up at the top of the mountain down to having to fend for yourself on a lot of things. So you come here, playing on the defensive line here at Bethune-Cookman. You come in with a new coaching staff. Tell us a little bit about that.
As far as the new coaching staff, I feel like how would I explain? As far as the coaching staff, I feel like it's kind of strange not seeing many coaches come from the same different schools. Like, they all came from different schools with different personalities. But the coaches overall, a lot of them have different personalities. My favorite coach overall is Coach Collins and Coach Curry, because I feel like I could be this. He's a good person to be around, positive energy and whatnot. But I feel like I'm still filling out the coaches a little bit, like as far as like the defensive coaches and stuff like that. Obviously I've been here since the summer. I'm sorry, but it's just, I feel like I'm still trying to get to know them a little bit more and stuff like that. But as far as like the coaches and stuff like that, I feel like I'm still trying to fill them out a little bit more.
Most definitely. So you've played in the trenches in quite a few games this year. How has your battles been at the FCS level down in the trenches here at Bethune-Cookman?
I feel like, how would I explain? I feel like I can read things more faster at the FCS level compared to like the FBS level. How would I say? I can feel like I can read more O-line's tendencies depending on where the back is at. If he flips from the left to the right, to if he's in pistol formation and stuff like that, I feel like I can pick up from keys faster if it depends on if it's a double team or if it's a baseball coming at me. I feel like that's just I picked that up easier, faster when I came down to the FCS level.
Understood. Definitely understood. Definitely understood. So we play tomorrow night, 7:30 against Mississippi Valley. What are you looking for in tomorrow's game?
First, just win. Just a win. Coming together as a team and just coming out with a win. I think that's our overall goal, and I just feel like that's my goal personally, is just come out and win and just dominate.
I know most of the guys are going to ask, and we'll get to the other guys here in the studio. What's the demeanor of the team currently, if you could say that?
The demeanor of the team, I feel like it's how would I say, like, for example, if you feel like, I feel like it's a tree, and once you shake a tree, some leaves fall off, or once the branches start dying out, some trees start falling to the ground. I feel like some players are still holding on, but I feel like some players are tapped out as far as like the team and stuff like that. But I feel like overall, like, I feel like it's just a tree. Like when you shake it, a lot of leaves fall off, but there's a certain amount of leaves that just stick on and hold on to the end.
And those are the trees that we want to stay around. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Definitely. Guys, you have questions for Deontay?
No, I'm good.
Just a comment, keep playing well, and that motor of yours, keep it running, because you sure play with a lot of fire.
Definitely so. Deontay, we have a lot of fans listening to you throughout the country right now. If you would like to say something to our fan base, you have the floor to do so.
First thing I want to say is thank you guys. I really appreciate being on the show tonight. I'm grateful and I'm thoughtful, and I just say you guys are my prayers. I love you guys, and I just appreciate you guys doing the best. When you guys leave the house, just make sure you guys stay blessed and just stay grateful because a lot of people didn't make it to this day, to this morning. So I just say I'm grateful and I'm blessed. I love you guys, and I just say thank you.
There you go. Amen. Well, thank you very much, Deontay, for calling in, man. Anytime you want to call into the show, you're more than welcome to call into the show. We say Hail Wildcats, and let's go get this W tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have a good night, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good night. 386-868-3411. 386-868-3411. I know the switchboard was lighting up over here. We wanted to get those guys in. They're already at the hotel, so we wanted to talk to them so they could get back to meetings, and it'll be lights out over there soon.
Absolutely.
So be lights out over there soon. 386-868-3411. Told you the switchboard was lighting up, guys. Caller, you're on the Hail Wildcats Gridiron Show. Welcome.
What's up, guys? Steve Holmes. How y'all doing, man?
Hey, what's up, big guy? How's it going, man? The Ave. How about it?
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
It's going good, and I wish we were talking under better circumstances, but, such is football.
It is. Such is football.
Yeah, so you guys were talking earlier, and you made some points about people being able to pull back and understand, like, listen, there's a process. And we just released an article this evening that kind of lays out that same premise and speaks about everybody just kind of taking a step back and realizing, like, where we are right now. We're at the very beginning of a rebuild. And I laid out some stats. I laid out some things on the in the article that basically, I think once people see, what's going on and what's happening, I think they'll understand, okay, maybe it's not as bad as it seems. And I'll just give you one quick stat that I have in the article. And it's basically that from 2012 to 2017, that there's a certain school that had 6 straight losing seasons. Now, we're on our 3rd. We haven't had 6 straight losing seasons since, like, the late 80s, early 90s, by my own research. This particular school had 6 from 2012 to 2017. 2017, they hired a new coach, and now that team is at the top of the SWAC. So you guys can do with that information what you will, but I share that so that people understand, like, we're okay. Willie Simmons up in Tallahassee went 3-8 in his first year, and if people just kind of, again, just take a step back, we're okay. And like one of the fellas said, if we're in the same position next year, then we might need to panic. But right now, just let the process play out. Let the coaches get their systems in place. Let them get a full season of recruiting, and then we can start to judge them on the merits. So I ain't got to listen.
All right. Thanks, Steve, man. We're great to have you on the show, and we look forward to hearing from you again, man. And
All right, guys.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
Huh?
I was saying, have a good night, man. So yeah, it's
Steve hit it on the head.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
He hit it on the head.
I don't know if anybody else could have said it any better.
Yeah.
No.
You know.
I mean, that's it. And to echo, I know you said it earlier, and Steve just said it. It won't be the same next year.
Again, I'm looking. I can't foresee the future. No one can. But I'm looking at the fact that I know the one thing that we can count on regarding Raymond Woody's ability coming in as a head coach was the fact that he recruited well. And I still believe that will happen here. But he hadn't even had his first full recruitment class yet.
I mean,
so and we got folks already off the rail hollering for this and that, and I knew it was going to be a long process. It was going to be that.
And just to piggyback on what he just said, I was talking to Darold this week, and I said what people need to realize, and include me, it took 7 years to take this program from the top all the way to the bottom. And if you think it's going to fix it in 6 months, it ain't going to happen.
with the hire after signing day.
Yeah, it ain't going to happen. It took 7 years to bring us down to the bottom. And you think we're going to bring it back in 6 months? Hell, I would have liked to.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I was all in.
But can you say you've seen improvement? There's areas that we know, okay, let's put our hands on that area and let's fix that and see what we got.
Well, the first improvement that I've noticed, which I think is the most important, is discipline.
And
Right.
to piggyback on that, every week that you get in here and read through these statistics, and this week no exception, look at a team that's 1-7, and yet when you look at one category,
Penalties.
consistently we are
Right.
among the best, if not the best,
Right.
in the conference, in being the least penalized, one of the least penalized ball clubs.
Definitely.
That's discipline. That's
That is.
laying a culture, a foundational culture to build on.
It is.
Because once you install the discipline, there's no quit.
There's none.
There's no losing faith. Because the discipline is going to make you feel that we could turn it around.
Oh, for sure.
That's what discipline does.
I mean, we've heard, we have heard, I'm done, things of that nature, but, when you show up at practice, when you show up at the stadium for games, those people are still there. The mouth will say anything, but with your heart, Yeah.
Man, I go back 50 years or more, and I think about the 73 team, which is 50 years ago. That 72 football team, Ralph, under Coach Jack McLaren, was a good football team. We just didn't play well, and we finished with a losing record my freshman year. It was bad. I mean, we
it was
won,
terrible.
I think, 3 or 4 games that year, but no one could foresee the change, the turnaround that happened in 73. You go from basically the cellar to the penthouse. And again, the infrastructure was in place, but also the roster wasn't a bad roster.
Right.
We came in and made some adjustments in the coaching staff and some recruitment. And Coach McLaren was a great football coach, but he, at that time, decided he was going to go and coach basketball. Wesley Moore took over football. He had worked with Coach Sy. He had recruited most of those players. And the very next year, we walk away with not only beating FAMU, we walk away with the SIC championship.
Right.
And nobody saw that. But it's a process, and it does take a little time. Unfortunately for us, this is a different kind of rebuild than we had 50 years ago.
Right.
Because we had to flip the roster this year. But the 2 gentlemen you talked to tonight, those are cornerstones
for sure.
of our building.
Exactly.
For this new renaissance that we're headed toward moving forward. All we got to do is trust this. and curtail our own emotional feelings and our emotional intelligence and realize Rome wasn't built in a day. And we're not going to turn this around in a day. But
it's turning.
Yeah.
But the building blocks are already there.
Yep.
The foundation is being, and we can. I read the post. We don't have this. We don't. Yeah, I get the fact we may not have this or that. We may not have an old line. We may not have. That doesn't mean that a foundation is not being built.
You heard the foundation tonight.
You're right.
Oh, no doubt about it.
You heard it.
Those two guys right there are quality individuals who can play football.
Right. Caller, you're on the Hail Wildcats Gridiron Show. Welcome.
Hey guys, Darwin, the two calling back. How you guys doing?
Good, man. How's it going, D?
Hey, man, great trip. First of all, I enjoyed the trip, man. The Shreveport, man, you had a great time.
Yes, sir.
You and Nick, man, you guys are awesome guys.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Glad you had a great time, man.
Oh, we had a great time. Ralph, you missed it, brother. You missed it.
You hurt my feelings, Dick, but that's okay. We'll talk later.
The whole trip, all I ate was catfish.
Catfish, and then we had
That's okay. Hey, I'll talk to you tomorrow, you big guy.
Okay, but you know what? I'm in my notes right now because I'm going to broadcast tomorrow, and I had an opportunity to be on the sidelines. That's my place, Larry. You know, the sidelines my place.
Oh, absolutely.
And last weekend, I had an opportunity to look on the inside of BCU football. That kid Hall, he's a baller, man. I went up to him a couple of times during the game and just shook his hand and said, "Guy, keep the motor going." What I see is a foundation. You guys talked about the foundation. BCU football is defense, first of all. You know, Coach Woody is a defensive guy. We see the strength of our team. It's what Woody's strength is. Larry also talks about the recruiting. That's coming. But there's some guys on our defensive side who guys balling, man. We just have not made the key plays at the right time on offense to keep things balanced. The defense is going to feel too much. I'm excited about tomorrow. I'm looking at the comments. I'm looking at screen plays and this and that to the offensive line. We are still 2 or 3 plays away from being 6-2. I'm not always be optimistic about the Wildcats. But I'm just saying, hold on. Foundation is being laid. We coming.
We
No
coming.
doubt about that.
That's it.
No doubt about that.
Well said. Well said.
Absolutely.
Definitely so, D.
Hey, I love you guys, man. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. I'm hyped. I'm off tomorrow. I'm already in my game notes. I got my boys ready for tomorrow. Larry, stop by the booth, brother. I got a special tribute I'm going to give to Jelly. And you're going to be on the Carolina Network tomorrow. Games on ESPN. I'm going to talk with Charlie Muir later on. But, guys, Wildcats still have an opportunity to make some noise. To make Alabama A&M, Mississippi Valley State, and then people on the small hill up there in Tallahassee, they better look out too. We still have some football that we played. I'm never going to be negative. Here we go, Cats.
Let's go, Cats.
Hail Wildcats.
Hail Wildcats. Thanks for calling in, D. We'll see you tomorrow night, man, on the call. All right. 386-868-3411. 386-868-3411. If you didn't get a chance to get in on the show, call in at this time. We got a few more moments left. 386-868-3411. You know, the greatest thing that we've heard tonight is, you look at the record and, if you just look at it and you're not a true fan, you say, man, why even care? But it's not that, because we have this record, but I see this improvement over here. You know what I mean? I see where we are. We can work with that. We know what we have to do to fix these parts, and we know it's going to be fixed.
Well, I think the 2 kids said it all.
Oh, for sure.
If you just listen to them, that ought to get you excited and hyped up. They're at practice every day, and they see what's going on.
Right. I love the analogy, shaking the trees,
right.
And, the stuff that falls off.
Yeah.
And, hey, the tree's only going to bear great fruit if you stay on there. You know what I'm saying? So It's hold on until you get to full.
Grandmama a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That Adrian Hall kid, we didn't get into it. That kid was probably top 2 or 3 in Brevard County when he came out of school. He was he went to Tennessee Tech.
Right.
But he really could have played
somewhere.
At a higher level.
Right.
I mean,
definitely.
he was an impact player. When you turn the tape on and watch Rockledge play, and they are a gritty ball club anyway, because they come from a real strong pedigree.
Yes, they do.
State champ. When you get a player out of a program like that, you're getting a winner.
Yes.
You're a winning mindset. And you get a kid that doesn't mind putting in the work. And so he's got 2 years left. Watch what I tell you. He's going to be foundational. When they get ready to vote next year for preseason players,
yes.
Watch that name. You're going to see that name because he's an impact player. When you cut the film on, other coaches know they got to account for 44. Mm-hmm. He may command a double
and if you double team him, you got other guys around.
You got 93.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why I say the foundation is there, Daryl. We're building it.
Just think about, let's look at it this way. All right, we're talking about our offensive line, right? Mm-hmm. Just think about opposing team's offensive line having to block those guys. They're going through the same problems we're having, and those are starters who've been there.
That's right.
You know, with injuries, you're facing guys like that week in and week out. You know,
iron
so
sharp as iron.
yeah, definitely. Caller, you're on the Hail Wildcats Gridiron Show. Welcome.
Good
Community Hall of
Good
Fame.
afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
How y'all gentlemen doing?
We're doing
good.
great, sir.
How are you?
Well, y'all, I don't need no introduction. I'm pretty sure y'all know who it is.
Yeah, we're just thankful to be on the radio in your city, sir. So, Community Hall of Famer, Mr. Robert Gould. Gould, how's it going this evening, sir?
Everything is going great.
That's good.
My man.
I was just sitting here, just listening at some of the speakers that you had on earlier, and I totally agree with a whole lot dealing with this program. I actually, as close as I am to the program, and I see things and I observe things every day, I did not know, and that's pretty much kind of dumbfounded me, that we had 12 or more players that was destined to come to BCU, and it didn't happen. I did not know that the players that we have on the field that's participating every game, working their heart out, did not actually see the field at all last year. So, you know, when you look at that type of stuff, and if you know football and the overall view of football, you know you cannot build with just sticks.
Right.
You got to have some bricks. You got to have some bricks in there.
Call it foundation.
Exactly. So, you know, I just really kind of found a lot out just this past week about what we lost and what we could have had. and I think I might have mentioned it to CC.
Oh, he didn't say nothing. Well, he hadn't been here. That's right.
He doesn't
I'm
communicate,
saying,
Goo.
Don't take up for him, Goo. Go ahead, Goo.
Yeah, but listen, I talked to him off the air also. So
we got a spot for you here on the show because we're getting rid of one person. So
Hey, Goo, don't let him talk bad to you, Goo.
Hey, listen, I prefer y'all not to do that because y'all don't want nothing from the family, do you? Because I can't come up there.
There you go, Goo. There you go.
We trying to keep it civil and sweet.
My man.
Hey, it's amazing that you said what you said and what you found out this week. We've known that for quite a while, and it goes without saying that this season could possibly, even though we're rebuilding, it still could have looked different. But there's a saying that each one of us in this room know that if you can beat one factor, you'll be champion.
Larry, said it earlier, infrastructure. You got to beat it before you can win on the field.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got to beat it.
Exactly.
And everybody who attended Bethune Cookman College, you know what we're talking about.
It's against all odds.
You got
It
that
is.
right.
It is.
It's against all odds, and it's the fight. It's the fight in the dog. It ain't the dog in the fight. So
Right.
if you got a dog that won't fight, you might not never fight. But
Cash it
those
in.
kids, man, those kids every day, I have not one time seen any chain link break in the structure that Coach Woody have instilled in these young men. I'm more proud of the Wildcats, and the program is in good hands. And long as I know we are, but long as everyone out there in Wildcat land understands, and like the young man said, trust the process, we're going to be all right. I already, the energy have not changed from day one, even though we have not put a W up in the division. It haven't changed. The energy is still the same throughout the campus. The young men still love each other. They still care about each other. So long as the energy stays the same, we got a chance, and I know Coach Woody going to build a winning program. I see it, and I feel it. And I watched them yesterday on the practice field. Ain't nothing changed about what they do. Ain't nothing changed. So the locker room, I know, is still together, and these guys, without a doubt, I know they're going to win, without a doubt, because of the discipline and what the coaches have instilled in these young men.
Most definitely, Ghoul. Most definitely. Hey, man, we thank you for calling in, Ghoul. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Yeah.
Tell Ralph to have my tickets, man. I'm in my seat up there. Don't let Ralph don't let nobody get up there.
As you wish.
How you coming into the stadium? You flying in a helicopter?
Nah, man, I'm probably gonna come in on a tank, man, if y'all bother with us.
There you go, Ghoul.
Hey, thanks for calling in, Ghoul. We look forward to seeing you. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, brother.
Man.
Love you too, man.
I love you guys. And I love what y'all doing, man.
Hail
Wildcats, Ghoul.
We'll do that,
Hail
brother.
Wildcats, man. Let's go.
Let's go.
My man, Ghoul coming on a tank.
Closing words, Ralph.
Goose gonna have to drive to Duval County if you want to see CC. But anyway, hey, I'm all with it, dude. I'm all in. But you know what? For all my Wildcat alumni, hey, just hang in there. Hey, we all get upset. We would like to have better results, but we just got to be a little bit more patient. It's coming. It's just going to take us a little bit longer. Hail Wildcats.
We got 3 games left. Let's come out and support these kids. You heard what the defensive line said, and they're steady building. They believe in themselves, so we got to continue believing in them.
Absolutely well said, guys. And we just need to show up for the blackout tomorrow night.
Definitely so.
And be ready for a good football game, because like I said, I think it's going to be a really good football game. I really believe that.
Yep.
We're looking forward to seeing all fans tomorrow night, 7:30 kickoff. Arrive there early. Let's see this legacy walk. It'll probably kick off about 5 o'clock. If Coach Woody has anything to do with it. So, and that's just part of what we've already talked about. But we want to see you out there. Hail Wildcats Gridiron Club will be out there tailgating. Stop by the tailgate, grab some fish, leave a donation if you would. It goes to help our student athletes and things of that nature. So for Mr. Ralph Smith, Mr. CC Temporary on the show Cruse, for Mr. Larry Wesley, I'm your host, Darold Williams. Hail Wildcats. We'll see you tomorrow night. Blackout tomorrow night, Daytona Stadium, 7:30 p.m. kickoff, being shown on ESPNU. Hail Wildcats. Prayers to the Jackson family. Good night.
Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Bethune-Cookman University alma mater.